37.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Bond does Deutschland. It's Kirsty Bond in Germany.
Kirsty Bond with the latest on what's happening with the ash cloud actually over in Europe at the moment. Kirsty Bond, hello to you.
Hello. Well, I'm looking out my window. I can't seem to see any ash floating around. Seems like it might be a bit of overkill, if you ask me.
Well, see, that's the point. See, that's what a lot of people apparently are saying over there now, especially stranded airline passengers are looking up in the sky and saying they can't see anything. But that's also the point, is that you can't see anything because it's so high up.
Exactly. Well, yeah, there's a lot of people who have been inconvenienced, to say the least, by this volcano, which nobody, have you noticed, can actually pronounce the name of, and I'm not even going to attempt to try, since it's got about 15 consonants and no vowels in it.
Yeah.
But it seems like they're starting to ease up on these air restrictions. The European transport ministers have held a video conference this afternoon and discussed a plan of dividing the airspace into 3 zones according to the state of risk in each particular zone. But the way the whole thing's being dealt with has been criticised majorly by the International Air Transport Association and the airlines themselves. Of course, they're losing millions of dollars of euros each day as the airspace remains shut.
But they may be losing all this money, but the fact is the risk up there is so high, and it's all based on what has happened in the past when aeroplanes have gone through ash clouds.
Yeah, exactly. There is an example of what happened in 1989. I think a Dutch airline, KLM, flew into an ash cloud over Alaska and had a near crash situation, and then $80 million in damage to the aircraft. So that's not something that anyone's going to be wanting to repeat. But the airlines in Germany especially have been quite critical because they've...
Sorry. We were talking over the top of each other. So the airlines in Germany have been affected. So has airspace been closed down in Germany?
It has been, yes, and it's just looking like they're going to reassess the situation again at 2 a.m. in the morning. But in the meantime, a couple of airlines, Lufthansa and Berlin Air, have managed to get some kind of exceptions to the rules where they're allowed to operate some flights if they remain at a certain level and operate on visual flight rules. So Lufthansa is bringing 15,000 stranded passengers back to Germany on about 50 long-haul flights. And I'm sure those people who've been hanging around at airports for days on end will be extremely thankful.
Exactly, and I'd imagine it's affecting a bit of business as well, with people wanting to fly goods and services around. A lot of people will be starting to lose, not only the airlines, but businesses losing money.
Exactly, it's not just the people, and the European authorities have decided that they'll be doing a thorough investigation as to the economic impact that this has had. But whether or not there'll be any compensation or help dished out is another story.
Have you heard about airlines going up and doing their own test flights?
Yes, they have been doing that. Lufthansa in Germany has done that and come back down and said there's not a scratch of damage, everything's okay, it's an overreaction, and they were kind of annoyed that all of these air restrictions have been based on what the Britain's Volcanic Ash Advisory Centre has been saying, and it's all based on computer models rather than the amount of ash that is actually in the air, like according to tests. And apparently because it's such a rare scenario, in Germany, for example, they don't even have the right equipment that would measure ash content when sending a weather balloon up, for example.
It sounds to me like it's just going up there for a bit of a trial and error. If the engine's shut down, they'll be going, well, it's probably not the best thing.
Yeah, exactly. But it's something that they're willing to risk when they're losing so much money every day as a result. Yeah.
Now it's easy for us on the other side of the world to say what we would or wouldn't do in the situation as a passenger. But how do you feel being in the affected zone? If you had to take a flight tomorrow and you weren't 100% sure that the skies were clear and the airlines were just going about their business anyway, what would you do?
Well, I do have a flight scheduled for Saturday, and I'm really hoping that things are sorted out by then, because it's not something you really want to sacrifice your holiday for, is it? So when coming to that the situation of having to decide, I think I'd go for it. Yeah, I'd be on that plane.
Where are you headed?
And I'd just be crossing my fingers.
Where?
To Sardinia. It's an Italian island.
Oh, lovely.
Very much looking forward to it.
That's the thing about living in that part of the world, is it's just so easy and so cheap to jump around the place.
Exactly, and every country is only really a couple of hours away, so it's something that Europeans take for granted, just being able to jump on a plane and hop to another city, another culture, where there's a different language and the environment is totally something else. So this stupid volcano is really getting on people's nerves.
Damn stupid volcano. Hey, Kirsty Bond, thanks very much for checking in with us from Germany today.
You're welcome. See you later.
So yeah, that is our correspondent in Germany, Kirsty Bond. Got a track now.